The Turning is now in theaters, and it is the latest January movie. This is a horror movie that is about a young governess who is hired by a man who has become responsible for his niece and nephew in a huge house. This is a movie that stars Mackenzie Davis, Finn Wolfhard, and of course, you got Brooklyn Prince. So, right off the bat, I'm going to say this. This movie it's about 5 minutes into the movie, there's a really cool shot involving an eye. And for me personally, I was like, this is such a cool shot. And the production design was top notch. I was into it. I was like, for the first 5 minutes, I was like really into it. And then the movie progressed. I'm just going to say this right now. This movie was absolutely terrible. Some people think that I go into a movie wanting to hate on it. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I go into a movie, and every single movie that I see, I go into it 5 out of 5 stars. But there are a lot of times where movies, they go down in ratings. It's not that they have to go up, it's that they have to go down. And I think that me personally, that's pretty positive to start every movie out at 5 out of 5. And this is a prime example of a movie that just went from, hey, this is solid stuff, to then this is terrible stuff. As the movie progressed, you realize that this is a movie that is not focused in the slightest. It's got certain ideas that, albeit are derivative, but they're not fleshed out. You don't really get an understanding of these elements. Like, there are a lot of times where there are these things that are going on with these kids, and you have an inkling on what you think could be it, but they don't actually go in depth with what is happening. And I get it that sometimes you want to have it where the audience has to make things up or, interpret it their own way, but I feel like this director wasn't thinking about that. Like, when a director wants you to think about something versus when a director doesn't know how to express something. And I feel like it's the latter, unfortunately. Also, this movie is so poorly paced. I was honestly surprised at how much it just dragged on and on. The thing is also, in terms of pacing, it's not just that, but the storytelling itself. The storytelling feels like one long first act, and then the last scene, which, by the way, the ending scene is absolutely outrageously terrible, but the final scene, you could argue, is like the beginning of the second act, even though actually it's the ending scene. So it's just confusing on that front. And I don't like being confused when I'm watching a terrible movie. I don't know. It's just also one of those things where you have Mackenzie Davis, who is a good actor. She was in Tully, Blade Runner 2049, and she gave good performance in those. Yeah, she was in Terminator Dark Fate, and that wasn't a good movie, at least to me personally. But I just feel like even in that movie, she actually gave a solid turn. But in this movie, her character did things that, both from an acting perspective and a directing standpoint, really didn't mesh together, I think, personally. Also, it wasn't scary. This movie wasn't scary at all. It wasn't even creepy. There was one scene, jump scare, that actually I was like, oh, but then immediately after I was like, well, that was cheap. And the reason why I jumped was because it was like halfway through the movie when it occurred, and before that, there wasn't anything creepy or scary, and then after that, there wasn't anything. So that's why I remember it. But, at the end of the day, I'm not going to go in depth with this movie. As you guys know, I do non-spoiler reviews. So I'll put it to you this way. If you like filmmaking, don't see this movie, because this movie's filmmaking is terrible. If you want to be entertained and have never seen a horror movie before, you might be entertained. But if you've seen even 5 horror movies, you'll see everything coming a mile away. And when it does do a surprise, which is the last scene, you're still kind of like, what the heck, man? That was terrible. So it just depends on your taste, honestly. If you are expecting and know that you enjoy bad movies, then watch this movie. It can be enjoyable on that front. But if you're someone that, wants a movie to be good and entertaining, don't watch this movie. Because in my personal opinion, I think that this movie failed on all fronts. For everything, it wasn't rewatchable, it wasn't entertaining, and technical aspects, besides production design, it wasn't good. Also, I wanted to throw this out there, but Finn Wolfhard, I don't think he's a good actor. I've come to terms with that. I really don't think he's a good actor. And his performance in this movie, I almost forgot to mention it, outrageously terrible. So, even the acting wasn't good. So, guys, The Turning for me personally, again, it took a turn for the worse overall, and I personally will be giving The Turning a 0.5 out of 5 star rating. That's right, it's terrible. Now, a little side note. I try not to preach, in my reviews, but I'm going to do that now. So when The Turning started, there was a couple that came in, and they sat a couple seats away from my friend and myself. And you're like, okay, that's fine. They come in right on time. That's absolutely fine. I get it. Things happen. Then they proceed to make out. That's all you hear. It's like, it sounds like crunching, but it's not. It's like, get a room. Seriously. And here's the best part. I mentioned how the first 5-10 minutes is actually like decent. The first 5-10 minutes they were there. They left about 15-20 minutes into the movie. And I'm like, are you serious? Why did you even come to this movie? Like, if you were coming for a makeout session, get a room. Or, you know, do in the car, you know, something. Like, and don't be a couple seats away from me. Like, oh my goodness. I can't. Like, I just, horror movies, they bring out the worst in people. I swear. It's really outrageous, the fact that people do that. And it's like, listen, to those of you that are new to my channel, yes, I have a girlfriend. And let me tell you, we've never done that before, especially for 15 minutes. Yeah, good Lord, at least not in a theater. Like, get a room. Get tissue, seriously. So, yeah. More of the story, don't be an idiot. Just don't. Be quiet, eat your popcorn, look at the screen, and enjoy the movie. Or be appalled by it. So, all right. So, that sermon is over. Guys, what did you think about The Turning? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, The Turning, do you think there's going to be a sequel or no? I hope not. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I really do appreciate you guys supporting. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.